with me explore bits of this beautiful country with stunning nature in Latin America. So let's start the journey. Obviously, flying from Europe, the flight is always so long. And actually we flew during the day, so but what it makes better is obviously always the food and also watching some movies. We actually landed later in the afternoon in San Jose airport. Customs, I haven't seen this many people like ever, so just waiting there for at least an hour count with that. Then we obviously went to pick our car, because without a car you cannot really make a trip in Costa Rica happen, and we went to Manuel Antonio. It's about 3.5 hours from the airport. We went to bed and woke up to this beautiful kind of jungle, very greeny view, which I think only this green is only in Costa Rica. My day actually never starts without a breakfast, and especially on holidays, I really enjoy having breakfast. So here in this hotel, Shana by the beach, the breakfast was very nice, no complaints. You also get a really nice view. What is a really big advantage of this hotel is that you can walk right to the beach from the hotel. They have a private walk right to the Playa Biesantz. It's about just 10 minutes walk, and the beach is quite small, but I like it because it's more kind of private. There's not too many people. It's really pretty, and actually on the first day was more cloudy, which I actually really welcome, because the sun can get really strong in here. I would say similar to like Asia, Thailand. And so definitely have strong SPF, because you can definitely get burned very easily. For lunch we went back to the hotel restaurant, and I have to say I really recommend this restaurant, because they have big variety of foods, and obviously you will not miss the beautiful view. Every time you go there, it's the same as for breakfast, so that's a super bonus. And in the afternoon, we decided to try another beach over there, just different direction, Playa Espadilla. And on our way, we actually met this little friend. And Playa Espadilla is much bigger than Playa Biesantz. It's this kind of huge beach that you can walk around, and I really love beach walks so much. And big advantage of this beach is that, as you can see, there are trees, so in the heat and in the heat of the sun, you can easily just lay down on your towel in the shadow. And this beach is a must if you're in Manuel Antonio, because it is like this kind of beach from a postcard. So after enjoying the beach, we went back to the hotel, then had some dinner in a restaurant nearby, and there's another day. Obviously it has to start with a breakfast, and today the weather was even nicer, almost blue sky without no clouds. And so it's Playa Biesantz again, but this day only for a little bit, because we had some plans in the afternoon, which I'm going to tell you about now. So around noon, we went to this restaurant called Avión, which is like 10 minutes drive from Shana by the Beach Hotel. I really recommend this restaurant. You can see right now why do I recommend that, and that is again this beautiful view. The views are absolutely stunning. You just have to go here, and the food was very delicious as well. We are meeting with a guide to take a guided tour in Manuel Antonio National Park here. So we drove right to the parking lot of the national park, met with the guy right there, and I have to recommend getting a guided tour in the Manuel Antonio National Park, because if you don't, most probably you will not see any animals, and you will also definitely not see any sloths. Like, coming to Costa Rica, seeing a sloth was definitely like high on my list, because this is basically only amongst few countries where you can see the sloths, and we haven't seen only sloths, we have seen other animals like birds, lizards. I think we saw a dragonfly. Well, the variety of animals is very big in Costa Rica, so definitely this park, take a guided tour. Obviously, I also tried to find some animals by myself, but I barely could see anything in these trees. There's usually sloths, but you know what, just like most of these animals, they actually know how to cover themselves in the nature very well. They usually look like a leaf or a branch, so it's very hard to spot them. And actually the guided tour takes about 2 hours, so it's not that bad. We ended our guided tour at Playa Manuel Antonio, sorry. I think you can refill your water right there. Obviously, it's better to have non-plastic bottles, because actually in this park they don't let you in plastic bottles, so definitely think about that when coming to Costa Rica. And on Playa Manuel Antonio beach, you can take this kind of hike where you can see this monkey, not the only one that has been there. I'm always scared of them because I never know how they're gonna react. It's actually not a very demanding route, it's quite short, but these views, man, you have to see these views, so definitely take it when you're there. It's right at the end of the beach, because those views are really, really worth it. Actually, through there you can walk on the other side to Playa Espadilla, which is obviously like the other part of Playa Espadilla. Again, so picturesque. So then we had dinner again at the hotel. As I already said, food was very delicious. This is another day, another morning, another breakfast, another pretty view of this jungle. And what I love about these holidays, always somewhere abroad, is the delicious fruits you get. It tastes so much different than like the fruits we have in Europe in winter. So this was our last day in Manuel Antonio, meaning we will be changing locations today to La Fortuna. From Manuel Antonio to La Fortuna, it's about 5 hours long, so it's a longer journey, but I definitely recommend exploring the country a bit more. So yes, you will drive a bit for sure. I didn't want to leave the beach because this was basically our last beach day, but what can you do, there is more to come. This actually what happens when a toucan appears on the beach. I was obviously observing him as well, and yeah, so it's about time to go. And as you can see on the road, many palm trees, so, and obviously palm oil is not something I'm a fan of, but many palm trees on the way. We grabbed some lunch and drove to La Fortuna. There's only one way actually, so there is some traffic or something, you have to go only through this way. So arriving in La Fortuna right by the evening in this hotel, having dinner, and this is the next day. The next day we had quite a busy schedule, and the first thing in the morning was obviously La Fortuna Waterfall. Definitely go there right in the morning. I think they open at 7 a.m. The ticket you can buy right there is $20. I think the prices actually in Costa Rica are a bit crazy. I know for the people from the USA it's probably something you're used to, but me being from Czech Republic, I think just the prices are a bit too much, and definitely like paying for everything, also like literally everything, is a bit ridiculous to me. But once again, this is probably the thing that every tourist do if you're in Costa Rica and La Fortuna. So it's just 500 steps down, so also 500 steps up, nothing too hard, and also You can actually get a swim in this waterfall, but I was really not so much into it because actually I don't like cold water. Yeah, the waterfall is not that big, but it's obviously definitely a place to be when you're in La Fortuna. And yeah, it's just the weather also was quite good because when I talked to one guy in Playa Biesantz the last day, actually he was from USA, Wisconsin, I think. He told me that like they got really bad weather in La Fortuna, and for us the whole 3 days we were there, it was not really raining, so the weather was quite even sunny. So I mean, coming there in February actually is probably quite a good time. It may rain a bit. I think with the weather you never know, so sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you get a bit unlucky, but we got lucky. Again, don't forget your hydration. You can refill your water there, and staying hydrated is obviously, especially if you walk a lot, because you're a tourist, so you do. Hydration is definitely key. So yeah, La Fortuna waterfall first thing in the morning, that's on your schedule for sure. Next we went to Mystico, hanging bridges. That's I think another must do when you're in La Fortuna. Driving distance from La Fortuna waterfall was I think about 40 minutes, so the distances are definitely not too long. You actually get on a parking lot. There is a small bus that picks you up, just takes you a few meters up higher, and there is already just the entrance. You have to buy tickets at least 1 day ahead. I think it's $32. You obviously again here can take a guided tour. We didn't do a guided tour. I don't think it's necessary, but depending on your schedule, you may do it if you want to see some animals again. Obviously it is called hanging bridges because, well, they are hanging bridges. The whole walk is I think 6 kilometers. It's gonna take you about 2.5 hours. Actually it was not that hot at all. It was a bit in the shade, so it's completely doable. It's a very nice walk. Yeah, so definitely recommend going there. I just love being in the nature. We saw a squirrel. And yeah, the funny thing I found is these ants that were actually like everywhere. I don't know if it's in other countries as well, but this is what we saw like everywhere on the journey. It was in Arenal as well, and they're bringing these leaves, like parts of leaves, and they're like building a house, and it just was very funny. The hanging bridges are obviously moving, so sometimes also you have to wait till the people just go, so can't beat that. And yeah, the views were also very nice, and the overall experience I enjoyed very much. As I said, nature is just, it's great, and in Costa Rica it's so green. You know, just with the distances not being too far away from, you know, where you probably will stay in La Fortuna, you can manage to do a lot of things in a day, and hopefully you would be lucky with the weather as well. There are also maps around, so you will not get lost and you know where you are. And obviously at the end you can see the Arenal volcano. So yeah, this was Mystico hanging bridges. I highly recommend doing a stop there when you're in La Fortuna as well. So next, okay, will be another walking. We went to the Arenal 1968 walk, which is probably the most common hike people do in Arenal. There are obviously so many. You can download the All Trail app. But this one was a good pick. You pay entrance fee of about $26. Who knew you have to pay for hiking? There are actually 3 hikes to pick from. We picked the longest one, which was I think about 6 kilometers again. It takes 2.5 hours because obviously it's quite uphill, but nothing too hard. You can absolutely do it. Everybody can. Here's some cows again, very close to us. And the walk was very nice because at first you go uphill, and you see the lava everywhere, the lava stones, and you get to a point where you can just breathe in the nicest view ever. So definitely just take it in. The journey was quite fine because actually again it was a lot in the shadows, so not too hard, absolutely doable. And then you walk down to the lake, so you just go around basically. And we also saw some birds, and the overall walk, I know why it's recommended the most now when you're in Arenal, because it's really pretty and you should not miss this one. So at the end of the walk, there is a cafe. So we grabbed some lunch in this bistro. Obviously, the prices again are Costa Rican prices, as I mentioned, similar like as in the USA. Actually, what I would mention for European waters is that the prices are the same like in the USA for the food. So you pay not the price that you see on the menu, but it's extra 13% of as a tax, and plus extra 10 for waiters. So it's plus 23% on the price that you see on the menu. So it's even more expensive, but it is obviously what it is. I still would really recommend stopping by this bistro right after you end your walk, because there was a nice view on the volcano as well. Then we went for dinner in La Fortuna to the restaurant called Don Rufino. It's amongst a very recommended restaurant. I found it on the internet. You probably find it everywhere, so you should go there. I think it's really good food. Obviously, it's a bit pricier than a regular restaurant, but it was like Italian style and really good dishes, and you need to reserve ahead for sure because they are fully booked otherwise. The next day was a chill day, given we had a lot of walking the previous day, and we booked Ecotermales. That's amongst one of the things you will read about coming to Costa Rica. One of the must-dos in Costa Rica being the hot springs. There is many hot springs to choose from in La Fortuna. Obviously, Tabacon being the most famous, but actually it was booked out for like a month ahead. So if you want to go to Tabacon, you have to book ahead a long time. I think Ecotermales is a good option. It's not crowded, it's calm. I was actually considering Baldi as well, but read that Baldi is kind of more noisy. I think they also have like limited spaces there, and you get your box to put all your stuff in, and there are about, I think, 6 pools. Most of them are about 37 to 38 degrees. Then there are about 2 or 3 that are smaller, and they are actually 27 or 28 degrees. Everything is very clean. You can grab lunch there, drinks. There's actually 2 restaurants. Yeah, it's actually 2 slots that you can pick up from, and it's either 10 to 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. to, I think, 11 p.m. We went, as you can see, during the day, and those 6 hours went by very fast. I recommend coming there exactly at 10 because there is, I think, enough sunbeds, but there are a few people who didn't catch a sunbat, just a few, so I think it's better be there in time. I think it cost $49, which is, again, depending on how you see prices, maybe not too bad for somebody, maybe overly expensive. It's definitely not something you have to do when you're in La Fortuna. I just think it's pretty nice for a chill day after a little walking. It's really relaxing, and yeah, everything was clean. Everything was really nice. Again, we had a nice weather, as I said already before, so definitely thing to consider. And as I said, there are many hot springs you can pick from, so it's up to you if you will go or not. We actually had hot springs in our hotel as well, but I really didn't like this hotel very much because the location was not really good. It was on the hill, so the weather there was much colder and not as nice as down in La Fortuna town. Otherwise, food was good, everything was good, but the location is not where you want to be in. So I think this hotel was overhyped. Given we chilled the whole day, we had a schedule in the evening, and there was this night walk tour for animals, and as you can hear the sounds, I want to be alone in jungle at night. Sounds a bit scary, and there was just mostly frogs. And yeah, we saw a lot of frogs, a red-eyed tree frog mostly, there's tons of them. And we also saw actually like this little tiny froggy, so cute. And yeah, a huge frog, obviously, she thinks she's a leaf. Perfect at hiding. And we actually saw the second most poisonous snake, and I saw such a huge ant that I never want to see such a huge ant ever again. It was like so huge. So we took this guide as a private tour. It was $20 per person with a local guide. Everything is written in the description below. Last day, Mirador El Silencio. There was another walk that is amongst the most common ones in La Fortuna area. Again, we took the longest possible one, 6 kilometers. As you could see on the map, you're supposed to see a lot of animals. Well, again, we saw a squirrel and we saw some birds. No sloths over there. So yeah, I think I could say the map lies a bit. But overall, very nice walk again. The views were very nice. Just watching the scenery is really calming and so zen. So definitely can recommend doing this hike as well. It's just really nice, and saw a cow like walking right next to me. The weather got a bit bad then, but then got good again. We went for lunch in Mariscaria Snapper's house. Highly recommend, especially obviously if you like seafood, you must come here again amongst recommended restaurants. You will love it. The food was so delicious, really top tier restaurant for seafood. And yeah, then we walked around a bit in La Fortuna. Obviously, as a logical thing, there is a lot of tourist souvenirs, all the stuff that you really don't need, but I bought a sloth as a souvenir. And yeah, so then obviously we drove to our last destination for this trip, that being Rio Celeste. It's 1.5 hour drive from La Fortuna, and I love, even, you know, you can see from the car again the nature and the greenery. So yeah, actually Rio Celeste is a bit on the hill as well, so the weather was not so great. It was actually the worst we catched, but this hotel we stayed in, Rio Celeste Hideaway, was the best hotel we stayed in. I think it has really great ratings on Google, and I was just thinking, like, why does it have such great ratings? And I know why. It's really one of a kind. It is a private walk you can do to see Rio Celeste. The water is so blue, right? There's some minerals in the water that make it so blue. So the next morning we went to breakfast, of course, and we drove right to the National Park Volcano Itinerary. You have to buy tickets ahead. You just show some code at the reception there, and they just let you in. The ticket is $12, and the walk is 6 kilometers. I think, or is it 7? I'm not sure now. Yeah, and here, as I said, the weather was not so good, but we catched still good weather, I think. But really do bring good shoes for walking. Here you can see the waterfall. This waterfall, as you can see, is a lot bigger than the La Fortuna waterfall. And this walk is amongst the toughest we have taken. It's quite uphill, it's just one way, and as I said, it was very muddy, very wet, so not only you need good shoes, but in general, when you go to Costa Rica, definitely have clothes that is also waterproof, and all sorts of clothes, not just summer dresses. Also come really early in the morning. I think they open at 8 a.m. and so we were there really early, and as you can see on the way back, there were already many people coming in. So again, first thing in the morning is ideal. And then we went to coffee and cacao tour in Bijauja. That's a town which is like 20 minutes from the national park. You will see a coffee and cacao tour everywhere, like in every location in Costa Rica. We did it here. I don't know if there are better places or like obviously worse places. Definitely check reviews before you go. This was very nice. It was, I think, $20 per person. And you make your own coffee. I'm not a coffee lover, but this coffee was very fresh and delicious. And you also can make, they make you a cacao. So I obviously like the cacao more because, as I said, I don't like coffee that much. For lunch, we went to this restaurant, and it actually was also again recommended. I ordered the typical dish, which is called casado. As you can see, it's a variety of many things. And what was really nice about this restaurant is that they have a butterfly garden right there, so you can check some nice butterflies over there. And then we went back basically to the same place in Bijauja, where right next to the coffee and cacao tour is the place where you can see sloths. Yay! And we saw this cutie little. I wanna take him home, but I obviously couldn't. Then I went to yoga class because our hotel offered a complimentary yoga class, which was super nice. And here we go on the next day, which was the last full day, having delicious breakfast, some animals in the garden in the hotel. And this day we drove in the direction of Tamarindo because actually, as I said, the weather in Rio Celeste was not that great, and the plan was to go actually on a beach. I just wanted to mention a few things maybe that I didn't mention before. I think I mentioned the clothes. Also wanted to say that obviously the things we have done on this first trip in Costa Rica, your itinerary may be quite different. It really depends on how much time you spend in Costa Rica, what are your preferences about the activities. I think maybe a few more destinations that you can visit is definitely Monteverde. It's National Park Cahuita. and it's the Tamarindo area where we drove to. On the way from Rio Celeste to Tamarindo, you basically pass by, right by the Cataratas Aranos del Cortes, which is 1 hour 10 minutes about the time from Rio Celeste, and everybody goes there, and it's just a few steps from the parking lot. This waterfall was really beautiful, so if you're going to drive to Tamarindo, this is a must-see. And we then drove to Playa Hermosa. In this area you will find many beaches. So Playa Hermosa is actually the closest beach from Rio Celeste, so it depends which one you will choose. I actually didn't like this beach as much as the beaches in Manuel Antonio, but sometimes just a beach and a sea, especially in the winter months in cold Europe, is all you can ask for. And yeah, so this is Playa Hermosa, and that was it. Then obviously driving back, I love this nature, just looking around. Yeah, and obviously this is our last day. Delicious breakfast, like the best omelets ever at this hotel, honestly. And had some time before going to the airport, so took this walk around the hotel, around the Rio Celeste again. So beautiful. And then we drove to the airport, took lunch at El Jardín Liberia, because Liberia airport was actually closer than San Jose airport, so we took a flight from there back home. And yeah, that's it. Going home to Europe. I couldn't wait to see my bed, to be honest. Thank you for watching, thank you for being here with me, and I will see you in my next vlog again, maybe in some time, but I will definitely do another one, so see you again.